You're listening to an AI podcast.
Welcome, everyone. And today, wow, have we got a fun one lined up?
We really do. A listener actually asked us to check out this really cool trip review we found.
Yeah, it was on Facebook, right? That page, Va Okelo Pai Naidi, about Chengdu. They use this term Menquan.
Okay.
I had no idea. I'm picturing some kind of like spiritual awakening or something. Turns out it just means completely lost or bewildered.
Huh. Like looking at a complicated subway map.
Totally. This menu is entirely in characters, I don't know, Menquan, you know?
Right. Language evolves fast online. It's like a whole different dialect sometimes.
Tell me about it. Well, good news for you listening. We've done the deciphering. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a 7-day trip to Chengdu, China.
Yeah, based on a personal account from 4 friends who went recently.
Think of this as your shortcut, your cheat sheet to their whole adventure. We've got this great travelogue, 7 days, 6 nights, Bangkok to Chengdu and back.
And they hit some amazing spots. Mountains, pandas, the city itself. It sounds like a really packed trip.
So our mission basically is to pull out the best bits, the highlights, the useful tips, the surprises maybe.
Yep. Whether you're actually planning a trip or just curious about Chengdu, we'll give you the rundown without, drowning you in every single detail.
Exactly. So let's jump in. What really stood out from their account? What were the big highlights?
Well, they called them can't miss highlights, which is pretty enthusiastic.
I like that energy. Okay, so first up, the nature sounds incredible. Bipenggou Valley.
Yeah, they said it looks straight off an IG filter.
Which is high praise these days, right? That perfect shareable shot.
Definitely speaks to that visual appeal.
Yeah.
And then there was Mount Siguniangshan.
Ah, yes, the chef's kiss views. That sounds seriously stunning, like proper breathtaking scenery.
The way they described it, yeah. It sounds like really powerful landscapes, a big contrast to, daily life.
Okay, and then the pandas. Gotta talk about the pandas.
Oh, absolutely. Panda cuteness overload was the phrase.
And they were obsessed. All caps. You can almost hear them squealing.
It was at Panda Valley in Dujiangyan. Seems like seeing them in a more natural setting really hit home. Universal appeal, right?
Totally. Okay, now this part made me a bit jealous. They had a private car charter.
For 3 days and 2 nights.
VIP squad goals, they called it. But honestly, that sounds like a really smart way to tackle that kind of terrain, doesn't it? For flexibility.
Absolutely. Especially with mountain roads and wanting to maybe stop spontaneously. It's a game changer compared to relying on public transport out there.
Makes sense. It wasn't all rugged stuff, though, was it? They mentioned accommodation, too.
Right, a mix. Some cheap hostels and then hotels with killer views.
Nice. So balancing the adventure with some comfort and style sounds like a good mix.
Exactly. Where you stay can really shape the feel of the trip, can it?
For sure. And of course, you need time for just wandering around the city. Retail therapy and city strolls.
Yep, exploring Chengdu itself.
Yeah.
Got to get those souvenirs, check out the local scene.
That's often where you find the really interesting stuff, just walking around a neighborhood.
See how daily life unfolds beyond the big tourist spots.
And finally, my favorite category, travel hacks unleashed.
Ah, the insider tips.
Yes, because who doesn't want to know the little tricks? Sounds like they learned a few things that could really help someone else planning a similar trip.
Yeah, that practical on-the-ground knowledge is always golden. Can make things so much smoother. So yeah, those are the big picture highlights that really jumped out.
Awesome overview. Okay, so building on that, let's walk through the actual day by day. How did the 7-day adventure play out?
All right, day 1 was arrival. Flew into Chengdu, checked into the Pioche Packer Local Tea Hostel.
Pioche Packer Local Tea Hostel. Interesting name. Sounds like maybe budget-friendly, but with a bit of local flavor.
Could be. Hostels often have that social vibe, maybe focused on local experiences like tea. They did some initial exploring near the IFS building.
Okay, getting their bearings in the modern part of the city. IFS is that big landmark, right?
Exactly. Then day 2, they headed out to Bipenggou Valley.
Right, the IG filter place. That was a bit of a drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 3 to 4 hours. Shows you the scale we're talking about. They mentioned taking it easy with the altitude, sort of acclimatizing gradually.
Smart. Altitude sickness is real.
Definitely. They stayed overnight out there in Lixian County, Jinju Putichani Hotel.
So maximizing their time in the mountains rather than heading straight back to Chengdu.
Seems like it. Immerse themselves, maybe see a bit of life in Lixian County too.
Okay, day 3, another drive.
Yep, about 4 hours this time, to Siguniangshan. Mount Siguniang.
The one with the chef's kiss views. And higher altitude again, right? Over 3,800 meters.
That's right, pretty high up. So that gradual approach was definitely wise.
They had that hot tip to sit on the driver's side for the views.
Yeah, great little insider tip. But also a warning, curvy roads.
Oh. Dramamine time.
Probably a good idea if you're prone to car sickness. They stayed near the park that night, Siguniangshan Zongshan Inn.
Got it. Day 4 sounded a bit more chilled.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Later start. Stopped at a cafe they called super cute, Maojianjian Cafe.
Nice. Little local finds.
That headed towards Dujiangyan. They hit a Panda selfie spot.
Okay, some fun photo ops.
And the Zongshij bookstore, which is apparently visually amazing inside.
Oh, I think I've seen pictures of that one. The crazy bookshelf designs.
That's the one. Then explored Dujiangyan Old Street, saw the Nanakao Bridge lit up at night.
Sounds lovely. And that was the end of the private car part?
Yeah, private car journey finished there. They checked into a comfortable town in Dujiangyan, so transitioning back towards, like, a town setting.
Makes sense. And day 5, the main event for panda lovers.
Day 5 was Panda Valley, back in Dujiangyan. Real pandas.
The so freaking cute moment.
That's the one. Clearly a massive highlight. They grabbed coffee in a nearby chill cafe afterward.
Needed to process the cuteness?
Maybe. Then they used Didi, the ride-sharing app.
Like Uber or Grab.
Exactly. Took a Didi back to Chengdu City and checked into TF Suites, back in the urban zone.
Okay, back in the city buzz. So, day 6.
Day 6 was their free and easy day in Chengdu, just exploring.
Nice, unstructured time. What did they do?
Did a city walk in the Yulin neighborhood. Checked out a place called Dongjiaoji, described as a trendy spot for young peeps.
Okay, cool hunting.
And then hit Guangsangzi Alley for souvenir shopping. Apparently their bags got noticeably heavier after that.
Success. Always good to have some free time like that, isn't it? Just wander.
Totally. Avoid burnout, stumble upon things you didn't plan.
Find the perfect weird souvenir.
Exactly. And then day 7 was just departure day. Headed back to Bangkok.
Full of good memes, as they put it.
Sounds like it. A really packed, varied week.
It really does.
So.
Okay, let's dive into those crucial pro tips, the travel hacks. This is the good stuff.
All right. First up, roaming.
Connectivity. Always important.
They used their Thai SIM cards, TrueMove and AIS. And apparently it was smooth sailing, good speed, plenty of data.
Okay, that's super useful info for anyone traveling from Thailand. No need to mess with local SIMs, maybe.
Seems like it worked well for them. Then, cash. Or rather, lack of cash.
Oh, yeah. How much did they use?
Barely any. Like 300 Chinese yuan per person, just for emergencies.
Wow. Okay, so mostly digital payments.
Almost entirely.
Yeah.
Alipay or WeChat pay for scanning basically everything.
Yeah.
Super common over
Right,
there.
you hear about that. Very cashless.
Definitely something to be prepared for. And they had a specific hack for that, too.
Ooh, a payment hack. Tell me more.
They called it a game changer. For payments over 200 yuan, they suggested asking the shop to split the bill into smaller amounts.
Why? To avoid fees.
Seems like it, yeah. To avoid potential fees linked to larger transactions on maybe linked foreign cards or the tourist setup.
Yeah,
Clever workaround.
That is clever. That's exactly the kind of specific tip that's super valuable. You wouldn't just guess that.
Right. Real on-the-ground learning there. Okay, then apps. Essential apps list.
Always need the right apps. What did they recommend?
Trip.com was big for bookings, hotels, park tickets, everything.
Okay, makes sense. Like an all-in-one travel portal.
Seems so. Then TrueMoney, or Alipay for the payments, obviously.
Right.
Baidu Maps for navigation and calling BD taxis. But, and this is key, you need to input destinations using Chinese characters.
Okay. That's a crucial detail. So, translation app needed.
Definitely. They listed a translation app as a lifesaver. Also mentioned WeChat for communicating with their driver in hotels.
Yeah, WeChat is huge in China for everything, isn't it?
Pretty much. And they mentioned AmApp as another map option too, so quite a digital toolkit needed.
Good to know. Really shows how tech-integrated travel is there. Okay, the big question. Budget. How much did this amazing-sounding trip cost?
All right, so this is as of April 2024, and it doesn't include food, local city transport like Didi rides, or personal shopping, just the major stuff.
Gotcha. Main travel and activity costs.
So return flights on Thai Airways with 25-kilogram baggage came out to about $272 per person.
Okay, pretty reasonable.
The private car, remember that was split 4 ways, was about 104 USD each for the 3 days.
Wow, that's great value and shared.
Yeah. Accommodation for all 7 days, 6 nights, averaged out to only around $79 USD per person.
$79 for 6 nights. That's incredibly cheap. Must have been some good hostel deals in there.
Must have been. And the park entrance fees, Siguniangshan, Bipenggou, Panda Valley, including shuttle buses, totaled about $45 USD per person.
Okay. So grand total for flights, car charter, accommodation, and main park entries.
Comes out to roughly $472 USD per person.
$472
Oh.
for a full 7-day trip with mountains and pandas and private drivers for part of it.
That's what their breakdown suggests, yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly affordable.
That really is. Shows it doesn't have to cost a fortune. Okay, let's do a hypothetical listener question based on all this.
Go for it.
Someone's listening, they're inspired, but maybe a bit hesitant about the payment thing. So how easy or tricky is it really for a first-time tourist to set up and use Alipay or WeChat Pay?
That's a really good question. It's definitely the main way things are paid for, but setting it up as a tourist can take a few steps.
Right, because they usually link to Chinese bank accounts.
Traditionally, yes, but things are improving. There are often ways now to link international credit cards, maybe for smaller amounts. And services like Alipay have options like a tour pass. Basically, a temporary digital wallet you load with your international card.
Okay, so there are tourist-specific options emerging.
Yeah, but it's really worth checking the absolute latest info just before you travel, because these systems change. Search for recent guides on setting up Alipay or WeChat Pay as a tourist. And like these travelers did, having a small bit of emergency cash is still, probably a good idea.
Good advice. Always have a backup plan. So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows Chengdu and the surrounding area as, well, just a fantastic mix, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You've got that incredible nature, the culture, the city life, the pandas.
And all apparently doable on a pretty reasonable budget.
Yeah, that was a surprising takeaway, too. Makes you think, right?
It really does. It sort of makes you wonder what other amazing, maybe unexpected adventures are out there in China or similar places just waiting to be discovered.
Mm-hmm. A lot of potential beyond the usual spots.
Yeah.
This trip is a great example of finding that blend of experiences.
Okay, that's us for this deep dive.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.